You think this game rewards the smartest guy in the room? That it gives trophies to the best setups, cleanest charts, smoothest indicators? I've been here 40 years. Let me tell you what it really rewards. People who don't get wiped out when everything stops making sense. Listen to me. You don't have to be great. You just gotta not die. Not today, not tomorrow, not this month. People come in here with dreams of being legends, of having the best win rate, of calling the exact tops and bottoms, of being the guy that others envy. You know what happens to them? Most get humbled fast, because this ain't a video game. It's not fair, and it sure as hell ain't consistent. You make money by surviving the seasons. And trust me, the seasons change. They always do. I've seen a market reward trend followers for 6 months straight. People made money just buying pullbacks. Looked easy. Then boom. Range market. Flat as a dead fish. Same people gave everything back. Why? Because they stayed loyal to something that stopped working. They wanted to be right more than they wanted to adapt. Don't be that guy. You gotta treat strategies like rental cars. Use them. Make sure they still run. Then drop them if they start breaking down. I ain't the smartest guy. Never was. I didn't come from money. Didn't have fancy tools. Didn't even know what a moving average was my first year. But I had one thing. I knew how to say, this ain't working anymore. And I knew how to let go. That's what keeps you alive in this game. Not brilliance. Not IQ. Adaptation. That's the secret word. You show me a guy who adjusts fast. I'll show you a guy who's still here in 10 years. You still trying to be the best. Let me ask you something. Who told you you had to be? Some guru? Some prop firm kid selling a course? Some YouTuber who made $900 in demo and suddenly knows the truth of the market? Forget that noise. The market is chaos. It respects nobody. No amount of talent can fix that. But you know what works? Being humble enough to say, whatever I'm doing, it might not work tomorrow, and that's okay. And then being quick enough to switch gears before it's too late. I've lasted 40 years, not because I was brilliant, but because I didn't blow up when everyone else did. Because while they were arguing about who's right, I was quietly adapting and quietly collecting. And if you want to survive this game, you'd better stop trying to win trophies and start trying to last one more year. That's the real edge. Adapt or die. That's not just a phrase. It's the rule of this whole damn jungle. Stop worshipping certainty. You want to know what kills traders? It ain't fear. It ain't greed. It's the obsession with certainty. Yeah, that little addiction to I need to know for sure. You keep asking, is this the right setup? Is this FVG valid? Is this liquidity real or fake? You want to know what the market says to that. I don't owe you anything, kid. And it doesn't. You're out here begging for clarity. But the truth? This whole game runs on fog. It's supposed to be uncertain. See, winners don't trade what they know. They trade what they can manage. They don't chase perfection. They just manage chaos better than you. Let me break it down. You could spend 5 years studying one setup. It'll still fail you when conditions flip. Not because you're dumb, because everything in this market expires. Every edge, every pattern, every trick. It all has a shelf life. So why are you out here treating your strategy like a religion? I've seen traders worship their rules like commandments. They tattooed them on their souls, then watched helplessly as the market burned them alive, all because they couldn't let go of the need to be sure. You don't need certainty. You need a plan for when you're wrong. You need to ask, what if this fails? What do I do next? That's how grown men trade. Look, if you're only confident when you're certain, you'll sit frozen 90% of the time. And the other 10%, you'll blow up when the market moves the other way. I didn't last 40 years because I was sure. Hell, half the time, I'm still unsure. But I know how to lose well. That's the difference. You think pros win by being right all the time. No, we win because we don't panic when we're wrong. We don't worship certainty. We worship survival. So stop waiting for the perfect setup. Stop begging the chart to give you a green light. It won't. It's a liar. It's a shapeshifter. And it's your job to move through the fog without crashing. Let the amateurs chase confirmation. You learn to operate in uncertainty. and still execute like a damn machine. That's how you become consistent, not by being the best, but by being the one who doesn't fall apart when the fog rolls in. Good enough is deadly if you can't evolve. You know what's dangerous? Being good enough. Yeah, that weird zone where you're not bad, but you're not improving either. You're making some profits here and there, catching decent trades, feeling like maybe, just maybe, you're close. But here's the trap. You stop evolving, you stop learning, you stop questioning, you stop adjusting, because your strategy works right. Your win rate is fine. Your edge is decent. Let me tell you something that'll hurt a bit. Markets don't care about decent. They don't reward almost, they punish stagnation. You think just because your strategy worked last month, it'll work next month. Forget it. That edge you found, it's already fading. Maybe slowly, maybe quietly, but it's dying. Because the market evolves faster than you do. Now look, I'm not saying you gotta reinvent your system every week. I'm saying you need to observe like a scientist and adapt like a fighter. Here's what real traders do. We log everything. We track shifts. We don't assume anything still works. We prove it every month. One of my traders used to kill it during London Open. 6 months later, same strategy, barely breaking even. He blamed low volume. I said, no kid, the market shifted. You didn't, so he tweaked, started tracking Asian session volatility, found a new edge. Guess what? Back in profit. It ain't about being a genius. It's about staying aware. Let me give you a truth most mentors won't say. You don't need to be the best. You just need to stay a little smarter than the last version of yourself. That's it. Outgrow your own mind every 30 days, even by 1%. That's how you stay alive in this jungle. Complacency, that's a coffin with your name on it. You just don't see the lid yet. So don't sit there waiting for the perfect strategy. That's fantasy. Instead, build systems that can bend without breaking. Review, adjust, review again, every damn week, because the market doesn't care who you were. It only pays the version of you that can adapt today. Want to know something sick? The smartest guy in the room. Yeah, he's usually the one who blows up first, because he overthinks. He builds perfect theories, perfect logic, perfect risk to reward, all on paper. Then, boom, market shifts. His perfect little theory shatters like glass. Now he's confused, angry, starts forcing trades just to prove he's not wrong. That's how smart people lose millions. But the trader who survives, he's not obsessed with being right. He's obsessed with being aware. He doesn't need to win debates. He needs to read the room. Let me tell you this. Trading doesn't reward IQ. It rewards EQ. Emotional intelligence. Can you take a hit and stay calm? Can you cut a loss without shaking? Can you watch your plan fail, then rebuild from zero without panic? That's the real test. And guess what? Most smart traders fail it. They fall in love with analysis, fall in love with their indicators, fall in love with themselves. But the market doesn't care about love. It only cares about how you respond when your tools break. Now here's the gold. Listen close. The profitable trader isn't the one with 20 confluences. It's the one who can dump his plan mid-week and rebuild it mid-flight. Not emotional, not stubborn, just practical, just fast. So no, you don't have to be a genius. You don't need 20 years of market data memorized. You need one thing: flexibility without ego. The second you attach your identity to a method, you're dead, because the market will bend that method until it snaps. And when it does, if you don't let go, you snap too. Adaptation isn't about being weak. It's about being light on your feet, so you don't break. You bounce. Be the trader who bounces. You want to be consistent, then give up on certainty, because it doesn't exist. Not in trading, not in life. People think, if I just study hard enough, practice long enough, test enough indicators, then I'll finally get that one system that never fails. Let me crush that fantasy right now. There is no perfect setup. There is no holy grail. There is no safe entry. What you're really chasing is control. But trading doesn't reward control, it rewards management. Let me explain. See, every trade you take, it's a probability bet, not a prophecy. And the trader who understands that, he stops trying to predict. He starts learning how to respond. That's why you can see two traders with the same system. One wins consistently. One loses his mind. The difference? How they handle the gray area. Because the market isn't black and white. It's noise, chaos, traps, fake moves, news spikes, random price jumps. It's designed to punish perfectionists. So what works? Simple systems, clear plans, fast reactions, and the guts to exit when the data changes. That's real consistency. Not from knowing, but from adapting faster than you break. And here's the brutal truth. You'll never feel 100% ready. Your setups will never feel 100% clean. Your confidence will never feel 100% locked. You still have to pull the trigger with 80% certainty, with 60% conviction, sometimes with nothing but risk management on your side. And you know what? That's enough. Because consistency is built on being able to trade without needing to be certain. It's not the setup, it's the season. You want to know why most traders fail? Because they never check what season they're in. No, not winter or summer. Market seasons. Let me break this down. Markets ain't static. They rotate. They morph. They breathe. There are trending seasons where price just flows. Breakouts work. Momentum thrives. Then there are choppy seasons. Fakeouts. Sideways. Liquidity hunts. Everything that used to work stops working. Now here's where 99% of traders get wrecked. They keep forcing the same strategy in every season, like wearing a raincoat in a desert, like bringing a knife to a gunfight. And when it fails, they blame the setup. They blame the strategy. They go YouTube hunting again. Wrong move. The pros. They watch the weather. They trade the season, not the fantasy. See, some seasons aren't made for entries. They're made for preservation. Some months, you don't double your account, you protect it. Some weeks, you don't need to win, you need to not lose big. But newbies, they overtrade when they should wait. They scale when they should stop. They revenge when they should reset, because they treat every week like it owes them something. It doesn't. Here's what I teach myself every month. Is this a time to attack or a time to defend? Is this a good environment or a noisy one? Should I size up or shut up? That's how you survive. That's how you stay consistent. Not by being perfect, but by knowing when to play and when to fold. That's the edge. Because real pros don't force the market. They follow the seasons. Most profitable traders have boring screens. You think the best traders got 9 monitors, indicators blinking like Christmas, news feeds, Discord signals, screaming alerts? Let me tell you something real. Most of the consistently profitable traders I know trade with 1 screen, 2 max, no noise, just price. That's it. They don't try to be the best. They don't chase every candle. They don't touch every pair. They just build one thing: clarity. You can't adapt if you're overstimulated. You can't think clean if your screen's a circus. Me? Back in 2008, I had 5 screens: MACD, RSI, Bollinger, VWAP, harmonic patterns. Looked like NASA. I made nothing. I got humbled, wiped out, blue accounts. One day, a mentor said, "Why are you making it complicated? You think more tools, more profits." I stripped everything down. 1 chart, time, patience, liquidity, gaps, no guessing, just reacting. Suddenly, I saw something I never saw before. Rhythm. Trading got boring, but my P&L started to smile. So here's the truth. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need the best gear. You need to remove everything that doesn't serve clarity. Because trading is a game of processing simple things in real time, not analyzing complex junk in slow motion. You don't grow by learning more. You grow by learning less but sharper. So, if you want to be consistent, turn off the noise, kill the fluff, make your screen boring, and let your discipline do the heavy lifting. Let me tell you something that might sting. Confidence is overrated. I've seen traders walk in the room chest out, full of backtest results, talking like they cracked the code. Guess what happened next? Market slapped them like unpaid debt. Want to survive this game? Forget being confident. Be adaptable. Confidence makes you marry your bias. Adaptability makes you say, I was wrong, flip it, move on. You ever met a trader that says, I know this will go up? Yeah, they usually disappear 6 months later. Me? I never say I know. I say if this, then that. That's the language of survival. The guy who adjusts his view every time the data shifts, he stays in the game. He doesn't blow up. He compounds slow, and slow wins. See, the market ain't your therapist. It doesn't care how sure you are. It only cares, can you read what's happening now, not what you wish would happen. Confidence is a killer when it turns into ego. But flexibility, that's pure armor. You don't gotta be the best analyst. You don't need to win every trade. You just need to say, I'll do what the chart tells me, even if it bruises my pride, because consistent profitability isn't about certainty. It's about reaction speed without emotional delay. So drop the I know attitude. Pick up the let's see mindset. That's how you adapt. That's how you win. You're not a predictor. You're a risk manager. Most traders act like fortune tellers. They try to predict. They need to be right. They want to win every trade. But here's the truth. Trading isn't about being right. It's about not blowing up when you're wrong. You don't need crystal balls. You need a calculator. You don't need vision. You need risk limits. Every trader I know who lasted 10+ years, they're not magic wizards. They're just masters at losing small. You know what separates pros from blow-ups? It ain't skill. It's risk tolerance. You can flip a coin with 50-50 odds and still make money if your losers are tiny and your winners run. Let me give you an example. Let's say I lose 6 trades in a row, small ones, risking 1% max. Then I catch 2 trades that run 3R or 4R. Boom, I'm up for the week, and that's with a 30% win rate. Most rookies cry after 2 losses. I shrug after 5. Why? Because my risk keeps me alive. Adaptation isn't just changing bias. It's knowing when to scale in or sit out. It's tightening risk when things get ugly. It's not revenge trading. It's not overexposing on sure shots. Real traders, they think like insurance companies. They expect payouts, but only when the math works. You want to be consistent? Then stop trying to win every trade. Start focusing on risk per trade, max drawdown, losing streak plans, position sizing, recovery mindset. Because the longer you survive, the more chances you get to hit something big, and that's how you make it. Not with genius, with risk control. Adaptation isn't reactive. It's built into your system. Most traders adapt too late. They change after they lose. They switch setups after pain. They call it adjusting. But it's not. That's reacting, not adapting. True adaptation, it's baked in. It's part of your system before the market even throws a punch. Let me explain. When I build a plan, I don't just say, this works. I ask, what if this stops working? What conditions break this setup? How will I know I need to pause it? That's preloaded adaptation, like armor before the war. My setups don't just have entry rules. They have expiration rules. Like, if this setup fails 3 times this week, pause it. If volatility drops below this level, don't use this model. If spreads widen, reduce size. See what I'm saying? It's not about changing after pain. It's about knowing when change is required before pain. Think like a pilot. They don't wait for smoke to check the engine. They run checks before takeoff. They have emergency switches. They have rules when things go wrong. So do I, and so should you. If your plan needs 10 losses to tell you it's broken, you're not adapting. You're bleeding. Real pros, they don't wait to be wrong 10 times. They build triggers into the system, not just trade setups, system switches. Let me tell you the bitter truth. Trading isn't about staying married to one method. It's about having a portfolio of edges and knowing when to rotate them. You adapt by design, not by panic. The best don't react, they prepare. That's why they last. And that's the final edge,